will be in 20 years from now. It just seems like when rock and roll's dead, the whole world's gonna explode, you know? And it's already so rehashed and so plagiarized that it's barely alive now, you know? It's disgusting. I mean, kids really don't even care about rock and roll as much as they used to, as the other generations have. It's already turned into nothing but a fashion statement and an identity for kids to use as a tool for them to fuck and have a social life. And at that point, I really can't see music being of any importance to a teenager, really. I think they'll use sounds and tones and use it in their virtual reality machines and just listen to it that way and get the same emotions from it, and then go to a party. There would be a virtual reality machine there with a whole bunch of headphones, and if you want to talk to people and listen to the virtual reality machine, you can do that, and go into the other bedroom and fuck and drink. But actually, I think virtual reality machines will actually get you high. Technology would be that good. And then there'll be like virtual reality junkies, finding them dead on their couch from Odin.
I don't know where the hell they come from, but they're all over the place, and they're pushing inappropriate sexual, racial, and political material on our children from the youngest possible age. The public school system has become an arm of the radical left, and we are not going to take it any longer. We're not going to.
De todos los textos sagrados, creo que el libro de Enoch en muchos sentidos es el más prohibido.
En algún momento antes del siglo IV, el libro de Enoch fue eliminado de la versión hebrea de la Biblia y fue desacreditado por todas, salvo dos de las iglesias cristianas primitivas. ¿Pero por qué? ¿Podría haber pistas en el propio texto?
Enoch predice el fin del mundo, predice la llegada del Mesías, todo tipo de guerras y batallas. Pero una de las cosas que hace es desarrollar esta historia de los gigantes.
Según el libro de Enoch, los gigantes o vigilantes eran un grupo de ángeles rebeldes enviados a la Tierra para proteger a la humanidad hace más de 5000 años. Pero en lugar de proteger a la raza humana, persiguieron lujuriosamente a las mujeres y corrompieron a la humanidad.
Los vigilantes se aparearon con mujeres humanas, pero también les enseñaron todo tipo de artes prohibidas, como el arte de la guerra, la magia, cómo hacer armas y también cosméticos. De modo que el maquillaje procede de los malvados vigilantes.
El libro de Enoch es un auténtico enigma. Que unos ángeles rebeldes tengan un poder que pueda rivalizar con el de Dios es amenazador para la iglesia tradicional.
En el libro de Enoch, la descendencia de los vigilantes y las mujeres mortales se describe como unos guerreros gigantes llamados Nefilim.
Nefilim significa caídos. Y según la teoría, les llamaban los caídos porque se rebelaron contra Dios. Decidieron que querían todo el poder para ellos.
Los Nefilim son gigantes grotescos. No son ángeles ni personas. Son descritos como seres monstruosos. Y aparentemente había miles poblando la tierra. De hecho, había tantos que en cierto momento Dios tuvo que destruir a toda la humanidad para librarse de ellos.
Una de las versiones que la gente no conoce es que Dios decide destruir la tierra cuando envía el diluvio en tiempos de Noé por culpa de los Nefilim.
Gigantes grotescos atacando a humanos y los gigantes a su vez destruidos por Dios con el diluvio universal. Fue eliminado el libro de Enoch de los textos bíblicos estándar porque se consideró demasiado inverosímil, demasiado atroz. ¿O fue porque contrariaba la imagen de Dios como un creador compasivo que perdonaba en lugar de castigar a la humanidad por sus pecados?
You believe in public execution?
I'm all for public execution.
What are your thoughts on abortion? I'm against it, boys. It's murder. That's why I got this shirt right here.
You said you're against abortion.
Yeah, it's murder.
You want to bring back public executions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I got the info there.
I showed you the maps that were here on Earth before 1958, before the governments took them out. And I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's Volume 2. Now, this is actually the Encyclopedia America, but the Encyclopedia Britannica is the same thing as Encyclopedia America. It's just the Britain version. So I call it the Britannica. Anyways, this is Volume 2 out of the alphabet A. We're going to flip to the Antarctica, and this is from 1958, as you can see. Now, we're going to flip to the Antarctica and see what the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty, says is there. Now, you won't find this in the new encyclopedias because the government's discontinued them. But what I want you to notice right here is, notice how it says, the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Take a really, really close look at that. Now I'm going to zoom it in for you. When they returned to New Zealand, these flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, let me show you with an image on Google Earth's heliocentric model. And now here we are at 80 degrees latitude, 90 degrees longitude. And as you can see, we're about a third over the supposed continent of Antarctica. And there, it's supposed to be, the dome is supposed to be 13,000 foot high. Makes no sense, right? Okay, now on this geocentric model, all of us truthers, flat earthers, know that the supposed Antarctica is nothing more than the ice wall. So if we go out here about a third over the ice wall, just like you've seen on the heliocentric image, about a third over Antarctica, then this is where the dome comes down to meet the ice, somewhere hundreds of miles off through the ice desert there, but somewhere right in here around 80 degrees latitude and 90 degrees longitude, this dome is about 13,000 foot above this ice wall. Now, if you go back out into the center of the Earth, or up the North Pole, and try to go up to the firmament with a little bit of calculation, it's going to show that it's about 385,500 feet away. It's really, really simple. And isn't it awful coincidental that the Antarctic Treaty of 1958 bans anyone from going to Antarctica? And guess where that ban starts at? At the 80th parallel south. And as you can read here, Antarctica is a continent, is located in the southern hemisphere. It is the 5th largest continent and has an area of about 14 million square kilometers. The continent is almost completely covered by ice and is very difficult to access. There are only a few research stations that are located on the continent. People can only visit Antarctica if they have permission from the authorities. Now, if you're not familiar with any of this at all, and you're just now new to all this, you could say, well, this guy is crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But what you got to ask yourself is, why do all the maps before 1958 show a flat Earth with the ice wall around it and a firmament, a dome? And not to mention the fact that all ancient cultures depicted a flat Earth with a dome over it, a firmament over it, for thousands of years. And let's not forget that the Holy Bible depicts a flat Earth with ice walls and a firmament being a dome. And why does the encyclopedia tell you that there's a dome there and it gives you the exact height at a certain latitude and longitude? Well, the reason is because in 1958, that's when all governments and all nations of the world signed the UN treaty to ban all civilians from going to the Antarctica. And NASA came in and erased everything, just like they're erasing everything today. So again, ask yourself, if all this existed before 1958, why doesn't it exist now? How come it all of a sudden was erased and just disappeared out of your history books, out of your encyclopedias, out of your libraries? Wake up, people. Wake up.
Taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
We are basically creating a prison for ourselves and every future generation, because they want to create this technology that's never existed before and push everything to this point of singularity, but they don't know what it's going to do once it's there. Maybe it will hate them all. And so when groups like the World Economic Forum come out and say, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, they're not talking about themselves. They'll own everything, you'll own nothing, and you'll have to be happy about it.
Adoro la mantequilla, pero la ciencia dice que el cuerpo no está diseñado para comer solo mantequilla. Bien, ya sabemos que el hombre puede superar cualquier obstáculo de la existencia. Hemos llegado a la luna, probado que la Tierra es plana, Albert Einstein resucitó de su tumba a un tipo llamado Frank. Así que les diré una cosa, la ciencia de verdad no aceptará un no por respuesta.
How would you blokes like to make some real money? Well, and who do we have to, No, nothing like that. You see? I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys? You know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. Oh, and you see... Yes. And I takes him to Pleasure Island. Ah, Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island? But the law, suppose they... No, there's no risk. They never come back as boys.
My name is Montague William III, and what I will tell you may well sound absurd, but the less who believe it, the better for me. For you see, I'm in banking and big industry. For many a year we have controlled your lives, while you all just struggle and suffer in strife. We created the things that you don't really need, your sports cars and fashions and plasma TVs. I remember it clearly how all this begun. Family secrets from father to son. Inherited knowledge that gives me the edge, while you people lie sleeping at night in your beds. We control the money that controls your lives. Whilst you worship false idols and wouldn't think twice about selling your souls for a place in the sun. These things that won't matter when your time is done. But as long as they're there to control the masses, I just sit back and consider my assets, safe in the knowledge that I have it all, while you common people are losing your jobs. You see, I just hold you in utter contempt. But the smile on my face, well, it makes me exempt. For I have the weapon of global TV, which gives us connection and invites empathy. You would really believe that we look out for you, while we bankers and brokers are only a few. But if you saw that, you'd take back the power. Hence, daily terrors to make you all cower. The panics, the crashes, the wars, and the illness that keep you from finding your spiritual wholeness. We rig the game, and we buy out both sides to keep you enslaved in your pitiful lives. So, go out and work as your body clock fades. And when it's all over, a few years from the grave, you'll look back on all this, and just then you'll see that your life was nothing, a mere fantasy.
Very clear. You're nothing but a pawn, and you'll remain a pawn until you play. The rules are clear. Take what they give you, give away what you have to, and the difference is yours. The question is, how big is the difference?
Are you really intending to win?
Well, why not? There are lots like me, and we're the actual players. Because on one side of us are the real cattle who let TV do the thinking for them, while on the other is power who believe that we are shit and feeble-minded cattle. Over in the barn, they want us to take care of them. But a long time ago, they gave up on themselves, and now they won't lift a single finger. While those who have real power became more than the rest. Became gods. They sit so high up that they can't see us as either a serious enemy or a trusted friend. They have only one problem, that they're not immortal. That just leaves you and me. Sometimes I benefit you, other times you me. Everyone plays a game of their own.
Think you're a player, do you?
I play like the great ones. Take the authorities. Quite unceremonious, but they do have a few lively plays up their sleeves with the people. Every couple of months, they let them blow off steam. Elections, Black Friday, a new auto plant, the latest installment of Star Wars, the Super Bowl. And the people just gobble it up. But when people have holes in their pockets and nothing to eat, who's responsible for that? So now, without their beer and football, they need a sacrifice. And you can be certain that power will provide them with a patsy, and it'll be us. Understand? So that is the game. Play me your tails here. If you're so smart, then maybe you know a way out.
The way out, my colleague, is through the entrance. It's time to get out of this game. Look, yeah, we have money, and what good does it do? There is nothing for us to do in this country. The number of alcoholics and morons is larger than the whole population. It's all polluted, education doesn't exist, and that new auto plant? It's not real. There's no other way than to leave and wipe this nightmare from our brains.
To leave? And who's going to let you do this? You'll never forget this nightmare because it won't ever let you wake up. We do have money. But whose money is it? Is it yours, really? Can you actually spend it? Or offshore it? Can you legalize it? Give it to your children? Don't lie to yourself. Don't be like the others. You're in a trap, and the trap will only open its jaws once you are good and deceased. We can buy our way out of a criminal suit, maybe a nice mansion, a few cars, expensive tutors for the kids, but that's about it. See, you're like a hamster on a wheel, no freedom to be seen while the system rolls right on. Why don't I tell you a fairy tale, my special friend? Nobody leaves. The fox hates feisty people. To those who want to leave, he gives a very tough time. Bounces them from the tax police to the DA to court, bleeds them dry and tosses them in jail. You asked for it, gingerbread man. Why are you silent? Hello? Are you even here?
Leave him alone. He looks like he's asleep. What can I say? You seem to be making some good points, so I didn't chime in. So what do you want? To win or not to lose?
Not to lose.
It doesn't matter. How is it possible to win or lose in a game where the rules are constantly changing, but are never changed by you?
Time when things are shifting, There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. And we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway.
Experts predict that by the year 2020, a new virus will rise, spreading from somewhere in Asia to the rest of the world. And with international travel being available to even the most common citizen, a sickness which would have been contained in years past will quickly spread to all corners of the globe.
There are very few things that we don't now control. To have lawyers and police force was always a goal, doing our bidding while you march on the street. But they never realize that they're only just sheep. For real power resides in the hands of a few. You voted for parties. What more could you do? But what you don't know is they're one and the same. Old Gordon has passed good old David the reins, and you'll follow the leader who was put there by you. But your blood, it runs red, while our blood runs blue. But you simply don't see it's all part of the game. Another distraction, like money and fame. Get ready for wars in the name of the free, vaccinations for illness that will never be, the assault on your children's impressionable minds, and a microchipped world. You'll put up no fight. Information suppression will keep you in tone. Depopulation of peasants was always our goal. But eugenics was not what we hoped it would be. Oh yes, it was us that funded Nazis. But as long as we own all the media too, what's really happening does not concern you. So just go on watching your plasma TV, and the world will be run by the ones you can't see.
It is run by insane people for insane objectives. And I think that's what I sussed when I was 16 and 12, way down the line. But I expressed it differently all through my life. It's the same thing I'm expressing all the time, but now I can put it into that sentence that I think we're being run by maniacs.
Mira, 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 observa.
Este cuerpo y esta alma le pertenece a Cristo. Te sometes ahora. No lo lastime, que le pertenece a Cristo ahora. En el nombre de Jesús.
Obviously, the war in Iraq is a big, fat mistake, all right? Now, you can take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It took him 5 days before his people told him what to say, and he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied. Okay. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
The thing that sets the Americans apart from the rest of the cultures in the world is we're so fucking stupid. This country's been around for a couple of 100 years, and we think we're hot shit. And we don't even realize that other countries have thousands of years of history and culture, and they're proud of it. And when we deal on an international level, you know, with foreign policy and stuff like that, and we try and go in as, you know, we're a big American strong country and all that stuff, they must laugh up their sleeves at us because we are nothing. We are culturally nothing. We mean nothing. We're only interested in the bottom line. You know, every other country has their own art, their own music, their own theater, their own drama, their folk dances, folk songs, folklore, and it means something to them, and they're proud of it, and that's their ethnic heritage. We have Levi's, we have designer jeans, we have hamburgers, we have Coca-Cola, we have REO Speedwagon, we have Journey, we have this one, we have that one, and then we go out there and we say, yeah, but we also have neutron bombs and poison gas, so maybe that makes up for it. I mean, it's really kind of sad when you evaluate it that way. And I think that a country that doesn't do something to sustain its culture, whatever it is, doesn't invest in it, doesn't keep it happening, isn't proud of it, maybe they just shouldn't exist. Because it's the culture and the beautiful things that a society produces, those are the things that should survive for thousands of years, not the designer gene.